Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here and start installing or creating our emulators. So what do we need to do? Let's go to our SDK manager there. And when that happens, you notice that we have this tool here that has a lot of things. So you notice SDK platforms. There's a lot of things here under SDK platforms. And we also have the SDK tools. So all of these should be installed because we decided to do that to have it customized. Now, if you don't have any of these installed here, you must install, especially when we come back to the SDK platforms, right? So if things are different here, they look differently than yours, make sure that you have exactly what I have installed on SDK tools here. That's very important. If you go to SDK platforms again, you should have all of this, but if in case that you don't, again, you can install from perhaps 4.3 up, right? So for 4.3 to Android API 28. The rest at the bottom, you don't really need to have installed. If you have it all installed, that's fine. That's not going to hurt anything, but it's important at least we have the higher API levels for our development. So in our SDK tools here, back to our SDK tools, what we need to make sure that we have, I like to have at least the Google Play selected or installed, Google Play billing, and so forth. And you can go back here to SDK update sites. This is where you can see how things are updated or where does this tool go to update things. So notice that we have Intel Haxum there, which allows us to do all sorts of things, but we can get out of that. Also notice that here you can open iOS Simulator if we are indeed on Mac, which we are at this point, and make sure that only works if you have installed Xcode, which I'm not going to do in this course because you can certainly do that on your own if you're interested in creating for iOS, right, which you should be, okay? Very good. So you need to install Xcode. If you do a little Google and say Xcode install, it will take you to where you need to do that, and it's fairly simple process. Okay, so let's go back to here. We're going to tap or click on this AVD manager to actually create our virtual devices or emulators. So click on that, and this happens. So now you notice we have a lot of things here. So notice again, like I said, I do have a lot of virtual devices that I created previously, but you are interested in the create virtual device button at the bottom here. So go ahead and click on that. And there we go. So now we can select the hardware and start putting together. There's a lot. There's TV in under category, phone, wear, tablets, and so forth. So we just want the phone at this point. Click on the phone and you can pick something else that you want to the right here. So there's different kind of phones. What I want, I'm just going to create a simple one here. Let's see. How about that one? Pixel? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, let's do next. And here we need to attach a system image. In this case, what is the API that we want our device to run on? So there's options here. I will just go with the simplest one for our purpose, for the purpose of this course, which will be API 28 or Oreo. Okay. Now, the thing about this is the higher you go, the number, that means the latest it is, which means it's the latest device or latest SDK that we have on our phone. So it all depends on what kind of applications you're trying to build, what is the target. So that is a decision that you need to make, and we'll talk more about that, not to worry. So we just have to pick one here. Let's just go with Oreo 27. I think that would work for us. Could have picked Oreo 26. That would all be fine as well. But again, just pick one, Oreo 27, and say next. Okay, so there's a lot of options here, one of which is we can actually name our AVD. So I'm going to just append here test, and we can show advanced here, but there's really nothing for us to change. I'm just going to leave everything as it is. You can see the memory RAM that is allocated for it and so many other things. That's all good. Very nice, fancy. And I have this keyboard here, which is important because it allows us to actually show a keyboard on the device, on the emulator, if we once we run our applications. That's always nice to have, so you can actually have the whole experience. I'm going to leave that ticked or selected. And I think everything is good here. I'm just gonna hide it and go ahead and say finish. The moment we say finish, it will take a few seconds there, and we'll notice that it's already done. There it is. And we can click on this button here, play, which will go ahead and launch this AVD. Again, it all depends on how fast your computer. Oh my goodness, my computer is really fast. There we go. It created our AVD. And now it's starting itself, and voila, what do you know? We have our Android emulator ready to go. All right, so we can go back here. If you open there, you should see the test, which is the one at the bottom that we just created. So that just shows that indeed everything is great. Now we have this little error here. This seems like another emulator is running. Let me just hit run real quick here to see. It's going to go ahead and open it, or actually install the application on the one that is open, which is this one here. And if all goes well, we should be able to see our sample application here on our emulator. And there we go. And there we go. Perfect. Now it's running. So our project, we were able to create our project and create our emulator, and it's running this default application. Tapping there, as you see, it just does all the things. Very cool. Again, if you have already iOS simulator, in this case, you can click on Open iOS Simulator and it should work just fine. There's installation here, how to install Xcode, as you can see. It's very simple. You just go to those links there and follow the instructions. It's not really hard at all, and I'm very confident that you can do that. So once you do that, you'll be prompted to create an iOS simulator, and all of this information that you have here to follow. Okay, go ahead and do that if you're on Mac and if you're interested, of course. And once you do that, you're going to be able to click on Open iOS Simulator and it will open it. In fact, let's do that now. So you can see the app running on both iOS and Android as it's intended when it comes to Flutter. Open X, there we go. Let's run that. It's launching in the back. Let's see. Look at that. And the beauty here, everything is under one code only, code base. Look at that, and voila. Now we have the same application written on with the same code. One platform is running on two devices, iOS and Android, which is the power indeed that we have here. All right, folks, we'll see you in the next video.